Alright guys, we're here on the Legasea Houseboat. We decided to do a little video for maybe some of the new owners or for some of the people that it's been a while since we've gone through all the checklists, but we're going to kind of just run through basically starting procedures and checklists. So we'll make a little video and put it together and we'll put it on the website. In case anyone has any questions, you can refer to the video. But first things first, we're going to check the fuel level. Of course, anyone wants to make sure that the last people on filled it full. On the fuel gauge, you've got two markers. So you've got two markers on this gauge. You've got one for the houseboat, and you've got one for the toy tank. Actually, that's backwards. Lower one for the toy tank, top one for the houseboat. So we're gonna go ahead and check the fuel, and I'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay, so fuel spot's right here.
We're on the back deck.
Port side, or excuse me, this is the starboard side. And we are well over full. Let's double check that. Yeah, so we have plenty of water, plenty of fuel. Again, it only needs to be filled to here. I would imagine that's a good at least 10-15 gallons. Under the port side tank. Yeah, it looks like again we're well over full. Again, it only needs to be filled to here for the houseboat.
Oh wait, yep, now you're rolling. Doesn't act like we've drunk from water.
Alright, so there's a lot of things to check under here. You want to check the gear drive fluid, engine oil, generator hours, and power steering fluid. So obviously just standard oil check. It's best to start the engines, let them idle for a minute, and then shut them off so you can kind of get an accurate reading of the oil level where it's been sitting. So it looks like we do need to add in this one. Power steering also we need to add a little bit. Gear lube looks like it's full. The coolant for the generator looks like it's a little bit low. Could add that.
That's the generator, right?
That's generator oil. That looks good. Possibly a little over full. The hours are down here on the manual start switch.
I can't.
You don't really need to. So they're down there. Engine hours. And again, same thing on this motor. Oil check, gear lube. Everything else should be good. Also, another thing, if you guys are the first ones down on the boat, after it's been winterized, there's this pump right here. This screen needs to be cleaned out. As you can see, there's a bunch of stuff in there. Bunch of debris. This needs to be cleaned out and checked. Also, we came down here one year and this gasket, when they winterized it, they dropped it and it was in the bottom down in that oil. So when I put this on, it would not prime itself to keep the circulating water. So I had to fish down there and find the gasket. So you always have to make sure that this gasket is inside that cup. Clean the screen out. Seashell in there. So make sure that's clean. Make sure your gasket's in there. Then when you start it, you should see this fill with water. That way you know that you've got good suction and you're cooling the generator.
Cut.
Okay, so one thing you got to know, if you get down here and the engines won't turn over, they won't start, the batteries have to have at least 12 volts in them to run these computer control modules. You can see the white one, that one up front has obviously gone bad, so they've replaced a new one. And then there's another one right here.
Okay.
No.
There.
Yeah, we can. So that computer control module, I'm gonna go turn on the key, and what you're looking for is red numbers scrolling across. So, pause it.
You're gonna turn the key. Oh, there's the red numbers. Yeah, that worked.
Okay, so the ignition key has to be on. Doesn't have to be running, obviously, but the ignition key has to be on to see those red numbers. And if there's not, you've got one of two problems. You don't have 12 volts of power in that battery, or one year we came down. Keep filming. And this right here, and I'm drawing a blank of what this is called, but inside it has a connection and it was rusty. So all we did is we took it apart, we took some sandpaper, sanded it down, and put it back together, and we got power to the computer control module. So if your batteries are low and don't see the red lights, that's the first thing you got to check. You can turn the generator on or try to jump these batteries to get that flashing. Otherwise, you will not get any power to the motor. The motor will not turn over. Okay. Go.
Yep.
Okay, so starting the houseboat. Again, this is probably redundant for some of the old owners, some of the people that have been on here before, but turn the key on, and then you hold this button down right here, wait for the red light to flash, and then actually it's got to be flashing
There's no kids back there.
when it's in neutral. So you know if it's flashing, then you're in neutral. And then go ahead and crank. Sometimes just a few little pumps of the motor. You don't want to flood it, but as you can hear, that started right back up. I go to the port motor, same thing. Hold the button down, wait for it to flash, then you kick it up, you know you're in neutral if it's flashing. I cheated, I already had these running, so they both fired really easy. But that's just your simple starting procedure for the houseboat. Breaker
It's not running. It is running.
on the generator that I believe, okay, so top of the generator, you're coming down, and there's a breaker right here that if that trips for whatever reason, you're just on the other side of your manual start box is the breaker, and for whatever reason, if you lose power and that trips, that's where you got to come back to reset it.